Hey guys, another video of me kind of keeping my voice down because I'm recording late again, but I'm sure none of you noticed since no one watches my videos, but I did technically miss uploading on time on YouTube, but I recorded the video on time, and I think I established in like episode 1 or 2 that actually it was episode 1, I know for sure that as long as I record every single day, I'm counting it as a win. I did record every single day with like full knowledge and intention kind of thing. So I'm counting it as a record. I'm not counting it as a missed day, even though it wasn't posted by midnight. Um, Other than that, I'm going to move right into my review of how my day at Panera for studying was. And overall, I think I was at Panera for 8 hours, give or take. I got there at around 9, I want to say, maybe a little earlier, and I ended up leaving right around 6. So actually a little earlier, 5:30, something like that. But you get the idea. Right around 8 hours. And similar to the library, it was an overall pretty positive study spot. It was reasonably quiet, not nearly as quiet as the library, but in some ways that was a benefit since I was trying to. The whole purpose of me going there was I thought I would have class online with a teleconferencing software, and that isn't what ended up happening. But if it was, it would have been a good spot to do it. I made a couple phone calls and stuff while I was in Panera, and it wasn't awkward at all. On the downside of it, which was that it was occasionally busy, like around lunchtime when school got out, when there was little interviews and meetings and groups that were hanging out. Sometimes there'd be like little kids. There was music playing in the background the whole time. But pretty much all that I was able to drown out fairly easily with my headphones on. If I was really focused on studying and wanted to study, it wasn't too much of an issue. There was definitely some pressure to buy something. No one outright said I should buy something, but it just felt weird sitting there for hours on end without buying anything. So I ended up grabbing breakfast and lunch there. Also, just being in Panera Bread, the food is pretty good, so it was too tempting to not buy anything, which stinks because the food is pretty overpriced. I ended up getting for breakfast, I had like a breakfast wrap thing for like $5, which isn't terrible, but it was small and not great. And then, excuse my stomach. But anyway, food overpriced, not great. And then for lunch, I ended up going with a bread bowl, French onion soup, and half a sandwich, which is pretty great. But again, that was like a $12, $13 lunch, so pricey, but not terrible. Similar to the library, bathroom was clean, close by, readily available, never had an issue getting a spot in there when I needed to. Wi-Fi was good enough. There was no additional computers like there was at the library, but there was plenty of outlets and stuff, or at least outlets available enough for me. There was definitely less outlets than I was able to find in the library, but it didn't hinder me using my computer at all, especially since I was there so early and plugged in. I felt pretty comfortable leaving my stuff unattended while I ran to the bathroom. Not as comfortable as in the library, but the trade-off for that was I didn't need to leave my spot as often because the only reason I would ever leave is to go really just order food real quick, pick up food, and take calls. Whereas or not take calls, to go to the bathroom. Whereas when I was in the library, if I had to take a call or anything like that, I was leaving a room or doing anything I felt like was inappropriate to do in such a quiet, private setting. I kind of left the room real quick. Big plus side for Panera over the library was it was definitely newer and cleaner feeling. There was constantly a worker cleaning things out and changing the garbages, wiping down tables, all that stuff. I didn't get it this time around, but I know in the past when I've studied at Panera Bread, sometimes they'll give me a freebie just because I'm sitting there and they can tell I'm studying the whole time. But yeah, overall, like I said, positive experience. The only downsides were that, yes, it was definitely busier than the library. There was a few more distractions between kids and people eating and all that. The biggest issue for me was that it was tempting to buy food. It was something that was kind of in the back of my mind a lot. I spent probably a solid half hour of my time just thinking about what I wanted to eat and stuff, which isn't the best use of time, but at the same time, you have to eat. It's, not the end of the world. There's also a lot of great food options in that area, so if I ever wanted to study there, then leave to go grab food in another place in that location, it would be pretty easy. It is significantly further than the library. It's a solid 15-20 minutes further than the library for me. There's also the Sparta Library right there, so if I really wanted to switch back and forth, it would be pretty easy. And ultimately, this is a very good spot for me to do my WebEx classes where I have to do teleconferencing, but overall, I'm going to probably lean towards my local library a lot more if I don't have an immediate need to talk on the phone for hours on end. And with that, I'm going to wrap the video up here. I'm starting to drift away from the camera. Sorry for the low voice, not looking my absolute best because I hopped out of the shower and came on here. But until next time, I will see you tomorrow and have a great day.